Will Maciejewski. Painter to speak on art and transformation in Christ. U.S. Secretary of State visits Russia. United Express lambasted over man dragged off of a plane. And the government health panel weighs in on a new prostate cancer screening method. All this and more on today's Franciscan Beat. James Patrick Reed, a New York City-based painter and teacher, will present a lecture titled Art and Transformation in Christ on Wednesday, April 12th at 7 p.m. in the Tony and Nina Gentile Gallery in the J.C. Williams Center at Franciscan University of Steubenville. A reception with the artist is to follow. Russia's foreign ministry says it hopes for productive talks with U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson as Tillerson heads to Moscow in a first visit to Russia as top U.S. diplomat. The ministry said in a 3-page statement issued ahead of Tillerson's arrival later on Tuesday that the outcome of the talks is important, not only for the Russia-U.S. ties, but for the overall atmosphere of the world stage. Tillerson is traveling to Russia several days after a chemical attack in Syria and a U.S. airstrike on Syrian government base that Moscow on Tuesday dismissed as an act of aggression. Moscow is a staunch ally of President Bashar Assad, whom the United States blamed for the chemical attack. Tillerson said Tuesday that Russia must choose between aligning itself with the U.S. or with Assad and Iran. The treatment of a passenger dragged off an overbooked United Express flight at Chicago's O'Hare International Airport has prompted outrage and scorn on social media. The incident risks a backlash against United from passengers who could boycott the airline as the busy summer travel season is about to begin. For Chicago, it is another public relations nightmare following a crime wave in parts of the city that has been highlighted by tweets from President Donald Trump. United Airlines parent company CEO Oscar Munoz defends his employees, saying that they followed proper procedures in dealing with the situation. But the Chicago Aviation Department suspended the security officer who dragged off of the flight a man who refused to voluntarily leave. An influential U.S. government health panel is dropping its opposition to routine prostate cancer screening. The U.S. Preventative Services Task Force now says that men should decide for themselves after discussing the pros and cons of testing with their doctor. Those conversations should start at 55. The panel says its latest recommendation is based on a new evidence indicating that routine PSA blood tests can slightly reduce some men's chances of dying from prostate cancer. The group also notes that drastic treatment can be avoided with close monitoring when cancer is detected. The new draft guidelines echo those of several leading medical groups. They replaced the panel's 2012 guidance, which said that the test did more harm than good. The new recommendations were published on Tuesday. Turning to sports, Tigers beat the Red Sox, Heat stays alive, and youth gets served. Justin Verlander and Chris Sale dominated a matchup of ace pitchers before Nicholas Castellanos singled the go-ahead run-off Sale in the 8th inning, lifting the Detroit Tigers over Boston Red Sox 2-1 on Monday. Verlander gave up an unearned run, 3 hits, and 2 walks while striking out over 4 of the 7 innings. The Miami Heat are trying to stay alive. Tyler Johnson scored 24 points, including the game's final 4 from the foul line in overtime. And the Heat kept their postseason hopes alive by rallying past the Cleveland Cavaliers 124-121 Monday night. The Heat remain number 9 in the Eastern Conference, a game behind the number 7 Indiana and a tiebreaker behind number 8 Chicago. In a match representing the largest age gap between players in more than a quarter of a century, 39-year-old Tommy Haas edged 19-year-old Riley Opelka 4-6, 6-3, and 7-6 at the U.S. Men's Clay Court Championship on Monday. It was the first ATP Tour level victory since Wimbledon in 2015 for Haas, once ranked as high as number 2, but now semi-retired and outside the top 800. Opelka is ranked 168th. Turning to weather, today there are chances of storms all day, so make sure you have your raincoat, with highs at 70 degrees. Tonight, look for a drop in temperature as low as the 40s. Tomorrow, it looks to be sunny all day with a high of 65. For Franciscan Beat, I'm Will Maciejewski.